Molly McNerney, Jimmy Kimmel's wife and head writer, went public on this topic recently, so I feel it's fair to comment respectfully in public. She says she's lost relationships with relatives because she wrote them an email before the election with 10 reasons why they shouldn't vote for Trump, and some still didn't obey. So, 10 reasons. I can think of 100. But I would never present it to someone as an ultimatum. Ultimatums don't make people rethink their politics. They make them rethink you.
Ma is tired of the left's endless shots at Trump, so now he's pushing back. He says their fury is overblown, often pointless, and that they'd be better off fixing their own mess instead of obsessing over Trump. Ma's comeback hit with accuracy smart, tight, and impossible to brush aside. Let's get into it.
Happy Thanksgiving. I can't believe that even that now is a political issue. It is a real shame what's happened to this holiday, which used to be all about the good F's: food, friends, family, football, fun. And now it's you. You're not even invited because you voted for the wrong person. I'm so tired of liberals ghosting half this country. Conservatives do it too, but not nearly as much. Look, whoever's doing it, it's got to stop, because we're at a point now where politics has broken up more families than letting your wife see your phone.
Ma's absolutely right. Politics has fractured the nation in ways that feel deeper and more intense than at any point before. America is clearly more split now, and a huge part of that comes from the left's growing refusal to deal with anyone who doesn't slide perfectly into their narrative. Instead of real conversation, there's a fast push to reject, shame, or shut down different opinions. That resistance to hearing other viewpoints has stretched every cultural and political divide. And unless that shifts, the split won't just stay. It'll keep getting worse.
Now, on the liberal side, there's two camps now. The we need to keep talking to people wing and the go no contact wing. That's what they call it now, go no contact. This belief that Trump voters, even if it's your own parents, are too deplorable for human contact and must be cut off. Like Scientologists do to suppressive people. A former speechwriter for Obama named David Litt wrote an op-ed this year called, "Is it time to stop snubbing your right-wing family?" where he admitted he'd had a change of heart and that was the wrong approach. So, of course, then the woke wing tried to banish him for breaking ranks on their policy of hating people who don't agree with you on everything, because what fun is life if you're not cutting somebody off?
It's honestly a troubling trend. Politics should be a place for trading ideas, a space where people argue, disagree, and still walk away with mutual respect. But that mindset is disappearing. The left is becoming noticeably less tolerant, especially when people start cutting off relatives or friends simply because they voted Republican. When political labels turn into reasons to erase someone, it stops being about discussion and turns into something far more rigid and hostile. That urge to shut people out doesn't protect society. It breaks it in ways that aren't easy to fix.
Mr. Litt asked the question, what has all this banishing accomplished? Oh, I know. A second helping of MAGA, that's what. Molly McNerney, Jimmy Kimmel's wife and head writer, went public on this topic recently, so I feel it's fair to comment respectfully in public. She says she's lost relationships with relatives because she wrote them an email before the election with 10 reasons why they shouldn't vote for Trump, and some still didn't obey. So, 10 reasons. I can think of 100. But I would never present it to someone as an ultimatum. Ultimatums don't make people rethink their politics. They make them rethink you.
Let's be real. Nobody who's already committed to voting for Trump is suddenly going to change their mind because someone dropped a long, dramatic email telling them why they're wrong. People don't abandon their political beliefs because they got lectured in their inbox. And that's where Molly completely missed the mark. Her message didn't persuade. It intruded. All it did was deepen the very divide she claimed she wanted to fix. Instead of starting a real conversation, it pushed people even further into their own corners. If anything, her attempt showed exactly why political talk feels so tense today. Too many people are trying to correct others instead of actually trying to understand them.
Somewhere along the way, my values became code for I'm the only one with a moral compass. You know what would have been a better exercise? Write a top 10 list to yourself where you try to imagine 10 reasons why 77 million Americans didn't want to trust you with taking power. And I say that as someone who votes Democratic. As I like to remind my very pure friends, we voted for the same person. You're just why she lost.
A big part of why so many people see the DNC as unappealing, sometimes even downright toxic, comes from Democrats themselves. There's this growing air of superiority, as if their views automatically sit on a higher moral shelf than everyone else's. And anyone who pushes back, even slightly, is treated like they're confused, uneducated, or morally flawed. That mindset doesn't create conversation. It shuts it down. It pushes people away before a real exchange can even start. Instead of finding common ground or encouraging honest dialogue, that holier-than-thou posture only widens the divide. It leaves countless voters irritated, disappointed, and uninterested in engaging with the party at all.
Can we please try to remember, especially at this time of year, that most people don't decide their politics. They inherit them. It's about where you grew up in America, what your parents taught you, your life experiences, your religion. Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia was here recently, and I was amazed by the number of people who reached out after the show to say, wow, I kind of like her. Yeah, that's been my line for a while. Everyone's a monster till you talk to them.
Exactly. So much of our political outlook comes from the places we come from, the families that raised us, the lessons we absorbed, and the realities that shaped how we see the world. But underneath all of that, we're still people first, with our own hopes, fears, and stories that can't be summed up by a checkbox on a ballot. Reducing someone to their vote strips away that human depth. Instead of snapping to judgment or cutting someone off, it's worth actually getting to know them. Real conversations and genuine curiosity reveal far more than party lines ever will. Politics may draw lines between us, but our shared humanity can still pull us together.
On our overtime segment that night, someone asked about the alien spaceship. Maybe you've been reading about it, the 3-1 Atlas comet that's headed to Earth and will arrive on December 19th to wipe out all life as we know it. It's a joke, don't worry. And when I quoted people in our own Defense Department who had said, well, hold on, what you think might be aliens actually could be fallen angels or demons. Marjorie agreed, saying, absolutely. She said, I'm a Christian conservative, angels and demons, that's what we believe. Okay, I think that. But you know what? So is this a girl or a boy? I can't tell by its.
I really respect Maher because he never sugarcoats the truth, no matter which side he's talking about. Sure, conservatives have their own wild, sometimes downright ridiculous takes, but liberals aren't exactly innocent either. What makes the liberal side especially irritating is how some of them act like they own the moral universe, as if they're the only ones who truly understand what's right, what's wrong, and what everyone else should think. That kind of self-appointed superiority isn't just obnoxious, it's damaging. It drives people away who might have been open to real discussion, and it shuts down the honest debate a democracy needs to survive. Maher cuts through all of that with sharp humor and clear-eyed analysis. He calls out the nonsense wherever it appears, reminding viewers to think independently instead of marching behind one ideology or the other.
I'm not going to go through wokeism's greatest hits now, but, you know, the safetyism, the open borders, queers for Palestine, whatever this was. I mean, I could go on, really. There's a lot of stuff. The other side has their top 10 list, too, and some of it's pretty hard to argue with. And I know the President of the United States called a woman piggy this week, and you're a better person than me because you hate it more than I do. But I hate it, too, really. as well as 1,000 other things about the Trump administration I never stop pointing out on this show. But I'm an adult, and in the real world, there's some people you just can't stop talking to, like your spouse or partner after a bad fight, tempting as that is.
We're never going to agree on every issue, and honestly, that's completely fine. A country this big, this diverse, is supposed to have different viewpoints and lived experiences. What matters far more is our ability to reconnect after the disagreements, let the tension settle, and focus on building a stronger America for the people who will inherit it. The founders envisioned a nation that could grow, adapt, and give everyone a real shot at a better life. They knew progress demanded effort, compromise, and a shared sense of responsibility. And those principles are the reason we stand where we are today. Now it's our turn to carry that forward. We owe it to the next generation to put real thought, real work, and real heart into shaping a future they can thrive in. That means talking to each other with respect, listening without hostility, and actually contributing to the communities we're part of. When we do that, we don't just protect what previous generations built, we move the country toward becoming fairer, stronger, and more united for everyone who comes after us.
Like your dick of a boss, like your family, and like the President of the United States. This is so childish, so purely emotional. The people who got all butthurt because I had dinner with him, you know, because he's Hitler. Except he's not. So unhelpful and dumb. Trump is the most supportive president Israel and the Jews ever had. You know, every year I used to ask Larry David to do real time, and he'd always say, Bill, I can't. I'm not smart enough about politics to do your show. Yeah, I get that now.
Left-leaning media often pushes audiences to view every issue through one political filter, shaping stories to match the narrative they want people to believe. They routinely spin events or highlight them in a way that paints Trump as authoritarian, dangerous, or desperate, even when the full context tells a more complicated story. When that's the only version being presented, it's easy for viewers to accept a simplified and exaggerated picture of reality. So it's no shock that someone like Larry David falls into that mindset. He's reacting to the angle he and his audience are constantly fed. And in that sense, Ma's take on Larry David is spot on. He understands how media framing influences opinions, even for celebrities who built their careers on wit and social commentary. By calling this out, Ma reminds us that not every criticism is grounded in objectivity, and that narratives can be shaped to serve an agenda. That's why critical thinking and questioning the source of information aren't optional anymore. They're necessary if we want to see past the polarization dominating today's media landscape.
Because there is no argument here. There's just the sugar rush that the no-contact people get from never coming in second in a hate Trump the most contest. Really? That's your strategy, to go full high school and tell the guy with all the power he can't sit with you at the lunch table? To borrow a phrase familiar to HBO viewers, you are not serious people. I mean, what exactly is the argument? That by talking to Trump, I'll elevate him? Oh my God, don't tell me he could become president. Well, I guess Ma'am Donnie is going to elevate Trump because he went to the White House today, and look who's getting along now.
The recent visit of Donnie to the White House surprised almost everyone. But what stood out even more was the unexpected connection that formed between him and Trump. These two have a long history of public clashes, trading sharp disagreements, and doubling down on their political differences. Most people expected tension, maybe even open hostility, during such a high-profile meeting. Instead, for the short time they were together, both leaders managed to put those conflicts aside and focus on a shared priority: improving life for New Yorkers and making the city stronger for everyone. That ability to work together despite deep ideological divides is both encouraging and instructive. It shows that real progress is still possible when leaders put the common good above personal or partisan battles. If more of us approached disagreements with the same level of openness and practicality, We could bridge divides, build cooperation, and move toward solutions that genuinely help society. It's an example worth paying attention to, and one worth trying to follow.
This guy, MBS, was at the White House this week. Biden thought he could cut him off, but a year later he found out he couldn't. There's no perfect way to deal with Trump, but not engaging is for sure nothing. Axios wrote a column in August entitled 11 Ways to Influence Trump, based on many interviews with people who have done that. Number 8, get face to face. The trick is getting in the room, away from cameras and social media. Trump will say or write horrible things, but rarely in person, one-on-one, where he comes off kinder, more interested, less erratic. Exactly. And there's a bunch of examples of this. Most recently, the CEO of Intel, who Trump was hating on, but then he met in person, and now he's a great guy. Trump was going to send the National Guard to San Francisco, but somebody talked him out of that.
Across today's political landscape, the divides we see are real, and it's easy to feel worn down by them. But there are still moments that offer clarity. Maher's sharp commentary, Mamani's unexpected visit to the White House, and a simple reminder that our humanity should matter more than any party label. Politics will always bring disagreement, but it shouldn't require hostility. We can debate without tearing each other down, stay connected without cutting people out, and question ideas without pretending we hold all the moral high ground. Both the left and the right have their extremes, and calling them out isn't an attack. It's an invitation to think more deeply, find balance, and keep the conversation open. Our responsibility goes further than reacting or criticizing. It's about helping build a future where respect, cooperation, and empathy shape the way we deal with one another. Like the founding fathers who set the foundation for a strong nation, we have to commit ourselves to a better America for the next generation. That means letting go of blind partisan anger, searching for common ground, and working side by side to protect the values of democracy, community, and opportunity for everyone, no matter their politics. And with that, we wrap up today's video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.